I know. Good evening. The Who's today, of course. This is the Easter weekend. We had the meeting at Randwick. Of course, we had the Sydney Cup, Queen Elizabeth Stakes, 3 Group 1 races, a few other Group 2s, Group 3. A really, really good roll-up. A good crowd there today, as I say, and there was plenty of action in the marketplace for a change, and the patrons were spread right around the course in plenty of marquees, where there was the turnover was very good. We rode a lot of tickets. The Captain Cookies rode a lot of Jiminy Crickets there today. Now we'll get to this meeting in a minute. Just very quickly, during the week, we had a meeting on Wednesday. We were at Randwick. It was very few turned up at Randwick on Wednesday, but we raced on the Kensington track. And the track on Wednesday was a slow 6. The rail was in the normal position. And very interestingly, my 2KYs, you can most probably see there, that Red Raw, I have the rotten sinus problem. No winners won on, no leaders won on Wednesday. So you would think saying that the fence was no good, but it was just the opposite. There were, I don't know how, quite a few winners sat back on the fence, behind the leader on the fence, saved ground from well back on the fence and got up right on the 18 and were able to get the chocolates. But leading, the closest I think a leader got to winning all day was in the last race, where we saw In the Money lead, ridden by Horseman Bowman, the winner and favourite Flying Bay sitting on its outside. There was only 0.2 of a length when they got down to the line. They got right away from the others. They did have an easy time up in front. And Bowman, he didn't stay close to the fence coming down to the turn. He was a good 4 off sort of thing. And the favourite was a little bit too strong for him, but that was the closest a leader got to winning all day, very interestingly. But the fence, you could come along the fence and win, but it was a little bit hard to, well, it must have been, it's very deceptive, must have been hard to lead and win. The wind was out of the very strong breeze, the same direction it was today as on Wednesday, out of the southwest, and it eased a little bit towards the end of the day, like it did today. But it was the horses who were on the fence when they turned for home, they had the breeze helping them along, where the horses out wide wouldn't have been copping as much wind assistance. And well, that was the meeting on Wednesday. Of course, on Thursday, the day before Good Friday, it was very strange, wasn't it, on Friday not to have any racing. Of course, it was Good Friday. We only had the 2 days in Australia, Good Friday and Christmas Day, where we had no racing. Of course, in years gone by, the only place you could get a drink anywhere, a pen and ink anywhere in Sydney, was at the show, of course. The show's moved out now to Homebush, but it was, they used to pack them in at the showground in the old days, the Royal Easter Show, and the bar on Good Friday did plenty of trade, as did the only place you could have a bet on Friday, on Good Friday, of course, was at the show. And of course, they used to have the gymkhanas, used to have 3 or 4 gymkhana races, the trots, the paces, and I think even a trotting race. The trots went around, the trots and the paces on Good Friday, and there were Captain Cookies betting on it. There were 4 bookies that I can remember betting on the Gymkhana. A fellow called, his nickname was Nigger Reeves, a bookie called Reeves, Nigger Reeves, George Lilly, Charlie Scarrett. He used to bet on the Gymkhanas, and a bloke called Lair Wasty from one of the Wasty family, one of the Wasty boys. his nickname was Lair was. He used to bet on the Gymkhana. Of course, the showground circuit was a very more or less more or less a circle, and once you got to the lead there, it was very hard to get past him. But there was plenty of betting on it, and there were some really fair income races there, and on the at the showground on Good Friday. We got to Wyong, as I say, on Thursday, where the track was a slow 7. It might have been upgraded to a slow 6 or even a dead 5. It was upgraded to a slow 6, and this track, the rail was 4 metres out from the 1350 to the 210, where the cutaway came into play, and the track played very fair. You could lead and win, save ground on the fence or get inside them and come home, ease off their heels and come down the outside and run on, which a lot of runners didn't do. But there seemed to be no bias on the track at Wyong on Thursday. So we got to today's meeting, where the track was upgraded from a slow 7 to a slow 6, and similar to Wednesday, we had that stiff breeze to start off with out of the southwest, which I think did help runners near the fence turning for home. That was they were a little bit wind assisted. As the day went on, there were runners that were on the fence and won, but well, it led all the way, of course, in the third race, eloping, and it led all the way in the second race. Beauty's Beast, the runner from New Zealand, the first winner sat third fence and got off heels. So, but as the day went on, they got a little bit away from the fence in the straight. It might have come a little bit chopped up. Plus, the wind wasn't as strong towards the end of the day, assisting those on the fence. And by the same token, there were runners that came from back in the field. Gay trained a few winners there today. Diamond Drill, it came from third last, right down the outside, and did give the captain cookies a lovely result, I must admit. There were so I think there was the track played pretty fair there today. I've seen the first few races by the same token. It did change around a bit, but everyone was saying up near the lead and the fence was the place to be. In this first race, we saw the Avery get home, the Lucius, who of course went around at Rose Hill last start, twisted a plate and ran the entire journey at Rose Hill with a twisted plate, which wouldn't have helped. They said there was 101 on the flux screen for the robots. There was about 4 less in the marketplace. This was our worst race all day. Just to throw out a bit of burley to the grumble and grunters, we offered 97%, paid the penalty, $2.40, plenty of it was given about the favourite in the first race, and it trotted in, won by 3.3 lengths. As I say, got a good run, third fence. It led Lydia, and it sort of dropped off. On its outside was Cyclone, who also dropped off, and the favourite, once getting around their heels, turning for home and topping the rise, this race was over. It came from well back in the field, making up ground, Careless, after missing the kick slightly and also copping a bit of a check at the start, and its stablemate, Gullion, who got onto its back. They ran the placings, but the margins were 3.3 by 4.8. The winner was far too good. The second race, well, here we saw 106.2 on the screen. about 5 less in the marketplace, 101 only. And as I said, this was a runner that led all the way, Beauty's Beast, a runner from New Zealand, which showed speed in winning races in New Zealand, taken straight to the front by Horseman Bowman. He ran along at a good solid pace with Engagement, who you knew was going to be up near the lead, sitting on its outside. And after they topped the rise, Horseman Bowman, he was able to get a good break on Engagement, who finished up running third. When I say a good break, he got a couple of lengths on it. And sitting back fourth on the fence and finish up running second, never leaving the 18 pence, was the second favourite, Woodbine. Gay had the 2 picks here. She had Long Ma, who started clear favourite at around about 3.40, very hard to get, after 4.20 was bet, and also Woodbine, after opening up $4 second pick, got out to $4.80, back into 4.60, but back out to $4.80, and then back into 4.60 again towards the end of betting. And as I say, got right along the fence, never leading it, but was beaten 2 lengths by the winner. The winner held on far too well. It came from third last to run into fourth hole, making up plenty of ground, Spider Coda, but it was beaten 4.2 lengths. Again, the winner, I suppose the track being a little bit fresh here and not so ploughed up, allowed those up near the front to have maybe the benefit of better ground, and it was able to hold on, as I say, and win by 2 lengths, Beauty's Beast. You more or less can't take anything away from it. Race 3, they said there was 106.7 on the screen, about 103.5 in the marketplace, and here we saw another leader, Eloping, who went around in the Golden Slipper, taken straight to the front by Stephen Baster, and it fought on very strongly. It beat Shamari, who, no, it didn't beat Shamari, it beat I Great, number 5, who had barrier 1 and sat in 4th or 5th position on the fence all the way, getting a lovely suck up, easing around heels after topping the rise, and as I say, beaten 0.8 of a length, and making up a lot of ground was the favourite Shamari, or equal favourite. They started $4.20 a pair, Memorial and Shamari, 13-4 the field, and it did make up a lot of ground from 4th last position, Shamari, down the outside to be beaten 1.3 lengths. Possibly the way the race was run, you could say that its run was very good. Another, as I say, Eloping, which showed speed in the Slipper, of course, and down in Melbourne when it raced, it fought on fairly strongly. It got trapped a bit. No, it didn't. There was they raced in pairs, sort of thing, with the first 3 place getters, I would have to say, were the best runs in the race. Race 4, they said there was 106.9 on the screen, 104, only a couple less, about the same, in the marketplace. This was a big difference to me. I was quite happy in the run after seeing the first 3 races where those up on the pace, leading near the fence, won the races, and this favourite Bounding, the runner from New Zealand, it was from barrier 11 in a field of 11, was taken straight across the face of the field to find the lead and the fence, and he ran along at the right pace, the rider from New Zealand, and De Pluce rode it, and it fought on very well, but the winner of this race sidestepped was by far the best run in the race, if not the best performance possibly all day, although the Sydney Cup winner trotted in. But after missing the kick, slightly sidestep, he settled back in fourth last position in between runners. When they topped the rise, the favourite had shaken off Dothraki, who was sitting on its outside, trapped 3 wide in the run. That was the very well-backed Thump, $9 into $6.50 towards the end of betting, possibly back out to 7. And getting a good suck was Shamalia, who missed the kick slightly from barrier 2, but then got a good run up on the fence. But as I say, after getting clear, it did look as if this favourite, the well-backed Bounding, who we put up $4, got out to $4.20, was taken, possibly into $3.80 at one stage, but got back out to the $4, starting 3-1 favourite when they jumped, the Avery. Sidestep, as I say, after slightly missing the kick, settled back in fourth last position, was eased off heels and went for and shouldered its way clear, not having to push the runner on its outside right out of the way when it was trying to get clear. But when it did, Sidestep went on out after the favourite and was able to run it down and beat it by 0.2 of a length right on the line. A very good run. As I say, it was a big difference to me, even though it was the second favourite. I was a bit against Sidestep. $4 opening price, 3-1 equal favourite with the second horse. We reached for it, got out to plenty of $4.80 on the fence, which you wouldn't see or appear in the flux. The $4.60 never ever went off, and I paid the penalty very dearly. It, as I say, being able to run down the favourite. Thump, as I say, got trapped wide, finished up running fourth. So its run was most probably a little bit better than it looked. And in the 3 wide position on its back was the runner from New Zealand, but with cover, Turquoise King, dropped right out at the finish, ran second last. I think first and second in that race were by far, especially the winner, the best runs. Race 5, this was the Queen of the Turf, and here we saw a very, very good result for the captains. I think this runner might have only been returned $41. I think it was $61 at the finish of betting on at least one board, or if not 2. We put it up a pony, we put it up 25-1, and as I say, it just kept on getting out in the market, and it was able to win this race. They said there was 106.2 on the screen, only one less in the marketplace, so they were spot on, about 105. So the 5 captains who control the fluck, the betting was about the same as it was, as I say, on the screen as in the marketplace. We saw the favourite here, Catkins, not fully tested towards the end of the race by Horseman Bowman. It did get a beautiful run in 4th position, and it was back for an absolute poultice. We put it up $3.20, 9-4 the field, got out to $3.80, $3.70. I never ever wound 2 up. They returned to $2.70. Never ever wound $2.80 off. I must admit I did stand it, and right towards the end of betting, I must have laid Red Tracer to lose about, as they jumped, at least 6,000 or 8,000 at the $5, which you wouldn't see on the screen. $4.80 they said was best luck. Started $4.80. Plenty of $5, as I say. They took 5 off me, and as the starter said go. 2 of the pros claimed me. I think it went off on the Derriere. That shows them the way home, the Derriere. In this race, we saw going straight to the lead Solicit, who pulled up with a poor recovery rate and also the thumps. So there are excuses there. They said it's come to us, the end of its preparation is going for a spell now. It led with Recite on its outside, Catkins tucked away looking at them in third posse, on its outside Red Tracer. Then we had Vidana from New Zealand, on its outside Diamond Drill, the winner. Then we had Gypsy Diamond, who missed the kick and wouldn't get going to the first 50 metres, but then got a beautiful dream run along the fence to have its chance on its outside Streamer, and Bonari running last in the field of 9. And as I say, it's hard to take anything away from this winner because it got on the back of Red Tracer, who loomed up when they topped the rise. It had got a charm run along the fence to maybe go close to hitting the lead, Gypsy Diamond, but down the outside, I wonder whether the fence by this time was a little bit worse, but down the outside, looming up to them after they topped the rise was the 60-to-1 chance Diamond Drill, and it fought on a little bit too strong for Gypsy Diamond, only to beat it by 0.2 of a length, and running third, Red Trace, after having every chance, was 0.7 of a length away in third position. It made up a bit of ground down the outside Streamer to run into fourth hole, beaten 1.5 lengths. That was about the race. The rider of the favourite, Horseman Bowman, said Catkins, he wasn't fully, he never really tested the line, and he was a little bit concerned about its action in the straight. But by the same token, the vet ran his hand over Catkins and couldn't find any problems. Race 6, the Oaks. Well, the first 3 picks here had, as it turned out, a lap on the others. It started in the red, the tomato sauce. Well, have you? I was $1.90 when they jumped. I didn't get my whack out of this. Lucia Valentina. I suppose if you run the race again, of course, it still would be the clear favourite. Mightn't be as short as it started, the $1.90, but by the same token, it wouldn't be much longer because it was settled down in last position. It did make the turn very wide, made up a good bit of ground. By the same token, Zanbar, who had the bar plates off the day, back with its racing plates on, it got a good run midfield. It looked like the favourite was going to run past it in the second hole at about the 100 metres, but Zanbar held it safely to the line. The favourite did have to make a very long and wide searching run, and after getting a great run was the second pick, Rising Romance, after easing off heels, was always in about 5th, 6th position on the fence, was able to get off heels turning for home. When they topped the rise, this race was over. It was able to get well clear of the others. It must have been 3 lengths in front at one stage. It only finished up winning by a length and 1.2 lengths, beating Zambar, and 1.2 lengths away was the Avery Lucia Valentina. The second pick, the second place getter here and third pick Zanbar, well, it never had a price. I laid it, but for a start, it was $8 on my board and another couple of boards on the fence when they jumped. After we put it up a 9-to-2 chance, it gradually got out in the market, as I say, to start $8. The favourite, the best price on the ground I saw was $2.20 in the outside ring, $2.15 on the fence. Did start $1.80. They returned it on the fence. You could still get $1.85 when they jumped on the fence. I was $1.90. Take your 10 for 9. And the winner, Rising Romance, extremely well back. We put it up 9-2, out to 11-2. I actually saw, no, there was plenty of $7 on the fence. $7 given, only started $6, a 5-1 to 1 chance. As I say, the winner got a charm run, as did the second horse. He had to make a bit of a searching run on the favourite, run the race again, it still would be favourite. And the first 3 in the market, the 3 picks, as it turned out, had a lap on the others. Forever Loved, it got a cosy run, 3rd on the fence all the way. It ran 4th, beaten 3.2 lengths. That was about the Oaks. Race 7, the Sydney Cup. Well, I wish they'd run this race over again. It was won by the Avery, the Offer. It absolutely trotted in, winning by 3.8 lengths. It was all right, this race, to work on for the captains. A 111.8 in the marketplace on the screen for the robots. 106, the very, very top odds for the captains in the marketplace. Now they returned at $3.30. They said the fluck was $3.30. I gave $3.60 at one stage. I was still $3.50 or $4.40 laying it for an absolute truckload, a shite house full. The Offer. I must be stone motherless mad. After it won the other day, I said, how are they going to beat this in the Sydney Cup? I think I might have even, I didn't say that, but I thought it would be shorter than it was. I must admit, I finished up marking it 5-2. I was completely wrong. It won more or less like a, well, there were a couple of runners that were made a little bit of use of, a few roughies, like Ultrimac early in the race was trapped wide. He had to, as I say, make a bit of use of it to sit outside the lead. It got trapped wide early in the race for a good section of the race, Valeurs to Kerrs, but still it went very poorly. And most of the others, as I say, they all had their chances if they were good enough. This favourite, ridden by Tommy Terrific Berry, he gave his One Another a good bellow, and after they went past the winning post, and he sat in about where did he sit? He sat in about 10th position, getting a good run in between runners, travelling extremely well coming to the turn, easing off heels, getting the right split. You could see him coming extremely quickly when they were topping the rise, joined in and said, see you later. It made up a lot of ground opinion from well back in the field, and it after sitting Sartorius, number 2, in a handy position behind the pace all the way from barrier 3, plugged into 3rd hole, beaten 5.3 lengths. And after getting a good run, Brigantine also, and he plugged to the line, ran 4th, beat 5.6. The winner was far too good. Then we got to race 8, the Queen Elizabeth. Well, I paid the penalty here. Of course, we had the coat pullers here getting hold of everybody, saying, "Oh, it's a done deal. It's got blood running out of it everywhere." Well, what happened? Oh, it got down in the tie-up stalls, on its knees. Well, it turned out it slipped over in the tie-up stalls, and it had a laceration to its hind fetlock and also to its near hind pastern. And of course, the vet and stewards, the stripes were informed. The vet looked at It's a Done Deal and said, no, you're all right to run. And of course, we know what happened. It got the chocolates. Here, they said there was 103.3 on the screen, a couple less in the marketplace, only about 101. We put It's a Done Deal up $4. It was taken straight away. The $4 was snapped up. I got plenty of section out of it at $3.80. It started $4.60. I suppose the word getting around that of its mishap in the stalls, but it wouldn't have been allowed to start if there was something wrong. And we fell for the 3-card trick again. We saw Carlton House here go out and set a very solid pace in the lead, and it finished up running third, beaten 3.8 lengths, fought on very well, chasing it all the way. Well, when they got to the 600, it was always in second hole, My Kingdom of Fife. When they were at the 600, My Kingdom of Fife, who finished up running 20.4 lengths last, it was about 3 lengths behind It's a Done Deal, Carlton House, and it was about another 2.5 lengths to the winner, It's a Done Deal, and another 3 lengths to the starting favourite, Silent Achiever, who we put up $4.20 or $4.60, got out to $4.80. It came in to start the $4 favourite, and as I say, it was about a good 3 lengths behind It's a Done Deal. And then there was another good gap to Toy Dini and another good gap to Bobbin, who unfortunately bled in this race. It did pull a bit. And then we had Leroy, another bit of a gap to it. This field was spread right out. On its inside, we had Hawkspur, who went fairly ordinarily, but it never left the fence. And I wonder whether the fence was not the place to be. But by the same token, the winner was, oh, it wasn't on it. He got onto the back of, down the back straight. He got off the fence, looking at My Kingdom of Fife. And then we had Sacred Falls, who finished up running second, the Doncaster winner, and it made up a mile of ground. So its run was very, very good. Only beaten 0.8 of a length. A little bit closer, maybe it gets the biscuits. And then we had Royal Descent, the stablemate of Sacred Falls, who beat it, who ran second to it, of course, in the Donny. And then we had Dear Demi running in the last position. But as I say, when they topped the rise, Carlton House was still there, but and it had dropped off noticeably, My Kingdom of Fife. The winner came very quickly, set up a winning break, and even though it didn't make up a lot of ground, it was never going to catch it, Sacred Falls. 0.8 of a length of margin. As I said, 3.8 back to Carlton House, and Royal Descent, which made well, it's fought on very well, but was beaten 4.8 lengths. First and second, by far the best runs in the race. We came to the last, and the winner here was extremely well backed, Cosmic Endeavour. Well, we can't work out why they said they were going to ride Lily Bolero back here. I was a bit lucky to actually hear the announcement. You can't hear what's going on there. There was so much noise there today, and when Mark Sheen does come across, unless you've got your ears pricked up, or you're flat out hearing what's said a lot of times. But I did hear, I think the announcement was made halfway during the meeting, that in the last race, Lily Bolero was going to be ridden quiet today. Well, that meant that, well, I think most map markers had that Lily Bolero coming across and looking at, or was drawn on the outside of the winner, Cosmic Endeavour, and was going to follow it across and sit second. But when that announcement was made, of course, it left this winner having complete control, Cosmic Endeavour, and also Plucky Bell, who I thought might have been up, not Plucky Bell, Avoid Lightning, maybe a little bit closer than it was. It was most probably by far the best run in the race, making up a lot of ground from third last position in between runners, because the winner, as I say, after Lily Bolero was ridden quieter, and it went well back in the field. It did pull very badly on the rider and copped a bit of a check. Did make up ground right down the outside at the finish, so I think you could forget about its run. But Cosmic Endeavour was able to stroll to the lead, trained by I Own the Lead, Gabo, and we saw it get an easy time in the lead coming to the turn. Ridden by Tommy Terrific, he got a little bit off the fence. Well, he was off the fence coming to the turn, not far off, but then about 3 off, topping the rise, travelling very sweetly, got a very good break on the rest of the field, travelling strongly, and the race was more or less over. And Plucky Bell, and I keep on saying Plucky Bell, it was the favourite, the easing favourite, Avoid Lightning, after settling back in third last position, ridden by bold Blake Shin. It made up a tremendous amount of ground, like it did when it was a good thing beaten behind at Randwick a couple of starts ago, and then of course it won at Rose Hill last start, made up a mile of ground to be beaten 2 lengths, and after getting a good suck, third on the fence was the 40 to 1 and $51 bet Belle de Coeur, sat fourth on the fence, and it was beaten 2.5 lengths. Second horse, possibly the best run. The winner, can't take much away from it, but it did get an easy time up near the lead. Plucky Bell, it got well back in the field as well, made up plenty of ground. We put it up the 5 to 2 favourite, 5 to 2 the field, but it was $4.60 begging it to finish. I'll give you in this race, they said there was 106 on the screen, only the neat 100 in the marketplace. These were the flux. $4.80 out to $6, which you wouldn't see, Dystopia, who is now to be retired. It pulled up, it went to the line very ordinarily and will be retired. $4.80 out to $6, back into $5, but back out to $5.50. Avoid Lightning, $8 out to $12, back into 11. Full Spirit, 30 out to 40, back into 30. Lily Bolero, $5.50 out to $8, back into $6.50. Plucky Bell, $3.50, 5 to 2 the field, as I say, out to I laid it all the way out. It was backed all the way out. It was back from $3.50 out to $4.60. Aerobatics, 17 out to 26. Perron, very well back, $4.80 out to $5.50, back into $4.80. Recoinage, 25 out to a half a spot, a lemon, back into, they said 60 was the best bucket, back into 40. 20, a pony out to $31, Simply Brilliant. Belle de Coeur, 20 out to 50, back into 40. Cosmic Endeavour, $8, you wouldn't see it, $12 given on the fence, mile of $11, which was the fluck, but only started 8, so extremely well back the winner. And Shahad, 30 out to 40, and I laid it well at 40, but did start $51 on my board. That was about the meeting. Now, of course, it's the long weekend. All you grumble and grunters, now you've got to make an effort. We're racing on the Kensington track on Monday, the long weekend, the public holiday, the Easter weekend, so you have got to make an effort to get to the Hooves on Monday. It's picking up. It's like finding money on the ground. On Monday there won't be as many, and the bookies will bet very, very skinny figures, and those who get there will have a big advantage instead of taking those retail prices with the filthy TAB and all of those corporates. So we'll see you out there on Monday. Good evening.